February 16th, 1859. Classes begin for the very first time at a college that later would be recognized worldwide as the Pennsylvania State University. But on that day 150 years ago, surely none of the 69 students saw any signs of future greatness in a landscape that was still mostly cow pasture.
The campus was covered with piles of stone and earth, and there were no trees on it. Our dining room was a shanty behind the main building.
The main building, the original Old Main, was the only building, housing classrooms and labs, a library and chapel, and living quarters for students and faculty. It was still under construction, with only the west wing ready for occupancy. Creature comforts were scarce, especially in the makeshift dining hall.
We shared our food with the flies in the summer and hunted for warm fragments of food amid the snowdrifts in winter.
Penn State had received its charter in 1855, and for its campus chose a locale in rural central Pennsylvania, an isolated area consistent with its mission of training young men in the agricultural sciences. In addition to academic studies taught by a faculty of 5, the institution required all students to perform 3 hours of manual labor each day.
I was assigned to the farm detail, and my first job was picking up stones near the main building. I labored for weeks at that job, and it seemed as if there were more stones in the field at the end than at the beginning.
Student life beyond the classroom and farm field bore little resemblance to that enjoyed by later generations of students. Those first undergraduates were confined to the campus, but it didn't matter. The community that later became State College then consisted of only 3 buildings and a dirt path.
We had chapel after supper each night, and it consisted of reading the Bible, prayer, and orations by students.
Gathering of specimens of flowers and plants was much encouraged. Saturdays were spent by many of us tramping over the valleys and mountains in search of new or rare flowers and plants.
Many of those early students had either been expelled or had dropped out from other colleges. This new agricultural college offered them a second chance, although some were unsure of their commitment to collegiate life. The academic year ran from February to December, without break, leading students to ask President Evan Pugh for a 2-week summer vacation. The president hesitated.
If we could be positively certain about them all coming back at the end of 2 weeks, there would be no serious objection. But here is the difficulty.
In the end, Dr. Pugh did grant the students' request, and the students did come back, as they have done ever since. In spite of the primitive conditions they faced, those early students realized that a Penn State education offered them practically limitless opportunities. Opportunities to gain and create new knowledge, to develop character and personal values, and to serve society in leadership roles. A century and a half later, we honor those students and faculty and thank them for laying a solid foundation for a world-class learning community.